Welcome back to the Daily Journal. So reviewing my trade from the New York session on Wednesday. So starting off on a daily, I'm using a slightly different time frame combination to my usual 4 hour, 15 and 1 minutes. So looking at the daily here, we know we've been trending upwards. So with these relative equal highs and price expanding and then retracing into this massive gap, right? You include all of that. That's just this new day opening gap. This is how you actually should draw it. But my eyes went down to this new day opening gap. Look how price had respected that. Look at that bounce. So dropping down to the 1 hour. So this is where the trade, that's where the trade was at. So let's just rewind the clock here. Okay, so going into the session here, you can see we've had that bounce, that new day opening gap. We've then expanded higher, consolidated and retraced into this gap. Then we were followed by a change in state of delivery. So I know that this low is protected, at least for this session's move, or at least until price trades into something like this gap or some other type of high time frame resistance. But for the session, all I'm focusing on is this range. This is my range low and my range high. And right in the smack bang in the middle, we have another gap. So I'm just going to clean up the chart a little bit. So dropping down to the 5 minutes, going to the session, let's just move this to the opening. And going into the session, as price dropped lower, look at these highs that it left behind. So we got relative highs here. Also, this 1 hour fair value gap we can refine to this 5 minutes, and we've got some really nice liquidity in there as well. So dropping down to the 5 minutes, when I saw that reaction, look how the bodies respected that gap. So we've swept liquidity inside of that 1 hour / 5 minute fair value gap. And I needed more, more clarity. So I dropped down to the 30 second. It wasn't until, about this point where I dropped down to the 30 second. Now my eyes are looking at this 1 hour candle. It's opened over here at 9. It's dropped lower into that 1 hour fair value gap. And so we're in deep discounts. And my eyes are looking at these relative highs and all these swing failures. And the fact that we have swept the liquidity, that high time frame, relatively speaking, high time frame liquidity, plus this low time frame liquidity inside that 1 hour gap. So this to me is a change in state of delivery, and price then bounced at that level. So at that point, I'm looking to get on side. And for me, I'm looking for price to trade above this. And that's where I was looking to get involved. So once price had traded above that, I was ready to pull the trigger. And what I was aiming for was the projection of this 30 second market make model. And when I saw this line up like that, that is just gold. So I was happy to trade towards the full extension because there's that 1 hour gap. So I didn't need to be greedy. And at this point, I was looking for price to retrace, and then form another continuation model for me to have a protected low to use as my invalidation. However, that didn't happen. Now we also have a new day opening gap, which I meant to include because I actually ended up using that. I think I had refined it on the 15 minutes earlier in the day. Yeah, there it is. So going back down to the 30 second, once price had just started to expand, I realized that it wasn't going to retrace. And the reason being is that look at this price range. That's balanced, right? Price has traded up, all the way down, up again, back down deep into discounts. I don't see why it was going to pull back at this point, especially given the fact that we closed above that new day opening gap. So there's at that point where I pulled the trigger, I put my stop loss at the low from this breakaway gap, which was also the lower basically of that new day opening gap, and it targeted that. And don't be fooled, this was not my entry. It was something more like that. Once I saw it expand away after having closed on this and not pull back and just start to expand, I immediately pulled the trigger. I mean, this is the 30-second chart, and I was looking for expansion above this. Remember, this is the 1 hour continuation. So I'm not looking for it just to sweep these and then roll over. I'm looking for this to expand, and especially with the size of this wick, this thing's obviously means business. This is the New York session. So being on the 30-second chart, this may look like a large wick until the body distributes and expands higher. So there's my trade, but don't be fooled with that entry. It was actually a lot higher, and it worked out to, excuse me, worked out to 2R in the end. So, gosh, sorry, it's early morning. So yeah, that's the trade, guys. Thanks for joining. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.